What's up? Are we live? We got a lot to talk about tonight. I'm a little under the weather. Let's see. Let's see if we streaming. I ain't got no email yet. Oh, yeah, I do. We live up in this thing. Let's see if anybody shoot through. I'm a little earlier than normal. I'm a little under the weather, but the fam is not home right now. So we about to get it. Let me find it. Let me check the stream right quick. See if anybody decide to roll through. No, nobody. Let's see. Testing. No, nobody. Let's see. Testing. All right, we all right. If we need to make adjustments, we'll make adjustments. I might play some Undisputed. Testing. Okay. All right, I might play some Undisputed a little later, but I just wanted to chop up some game with y'all. I watched that Spence versus Crawford press conference, which was, I watched them both. Very interesting. Matter of fact, least I could do is tweet out the stream. Least I could do. Switch the stream out. Let's see. Maybe somebody shoot through. Where we at with it? You know what's so funny is this is how you get caught up. You tweet out the stream and then you go to Twitter to see, and then you start scrolling through Twitter. These places are designed to get you twisted up. All right. I'm gonna wait a little bit. I kind of want to play some Undisputed, but studio mode. What is that? I can play with OBS since ain't nobody in this thing. I can mess around a whole bunch. What is virtual camera? I don't know much about OBS. I really don't. And I kind of want to make the comments appear in OBS. If I get a damn comment. I'm pretty presumptuous right now. Live chat. What is going on? Hold on, just the beginning. We start. I might be here for a couple hours. I don't know. I'm a little sick. Here we go. Whole grow shop in the back, bruh. When I set up the stream, I knew that somebody was gonna say that. Nah, it's not Dream Juice though. It literally is like tomatoes and peppers. I've taken on gardening, so when I've spent all my free time instead of making YouTube videos, I've been gardening. So those is tomato. I can tell you what they all are. Like I got jalapenos, I got habaneros, I got poblano peppers, serranos is already planted outside. I got Anaheim chilies. I got a whole 6 different peppers, and then I got 5 or 6 different tomatoes. It looked like it though. I ain't that bold. I ain't just out here in them streets like that. I don't smoke, by the way, and I don't sell drugs. But the way my job be paying, I should probably start. I'm not going to even hold you. I should start. Dude, it's enough people in here, and whoever. Oh, you grew? Yeah, I got cucumbers. And I got flowers on the plant now. So I know. Hopefully, I got cucumbers coming, because I don't really be seeing no bees in my backyard, and I know that the flowers have to get pollinated. The wind will do it sometimes, but you really want bees to pollinate, from the mother to the father. And I don't know. I can do it myself. I think I'm gonna go out there with a little Q-tip and do the whole thing. I be watching a whole bunch of gardening. Look, I be in them garden streets. What's up, TD? What's up, man? Let's talk about Errol Spence, man. Let's just get right into it. I'll probably fire up some Undisputed. Let's talk about Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford for a second. I ain't trying to be a boxing channel. I ain't trying to have no boxing show. I watch Showbiz the Adult. I watch a lot of Fight Hype. I watch, what's that other channel? I watch like 4 or 5 channels. I don't have no aspirations for that. But I do like talking about fights time to time. Let me know if my audio, everything good, picture good. But, yo, I watched both press conferences of Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. I got a lot of takeaways from them press conferences, right? So, first off, let me just tell you why I am so excited about Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Because, you know, a lot of people kind of are excited, but everybody's excited because it's the best fight in the best, right? And that's always great. But why it's so special to me is that the best versus the best for me is stylistically, this fight is going to be good, right? Because you can have the best, Floyd Mayweather, versus whoever lined up the opponents, and they all kind of turned into glorified sparring sessions stylistically. And I'm a big Floyd fan, so that's not a knock on Floyd, but where's my dog? Okay. My dog been acting a fool. Stylistically, all right, good looking out, Christopher Trainer. Stylistically, this fight looks good. So even if it wasn't the best versus the best, this is the type of fight I would be excited for. And one value that Errol Spence has is, unless it's a lopsided fight, his fight is going to be good. He's an action fighter. He's a pressure fighter. One thing he said in that Stephen A. Smith, I don't know if it's First Take, but Stephen A. Smith, when he interviewed both of them, he said, as soon as the bell ring, I get to stepping. You know how them, I think he's from Houston. You know how them Texas boys talk. Like, I just like they whole get down, they whole lingo. But there is no better way to describe Errol Spence as soon as the bell ring, he gets to stepping, right? So you're not going to have to worry about no 12-round chess match. Errol, that is, if that was the fight, Errol Spence has 0 chance of winning. So he's a pressure fighter. Terrence Crawford is a download you a little bit and then turn it up, right? So he might start off a little slow. You don't get that opportunity with Errol Spence. You got to get this. Oh God, my dog. You got to get wild as soon as the bell starts, because he's coming for you, right? So I really like this fight because the style is creating the hype for me. It's not so much Spence versus Crawford. It's like, damn, when they talk about throwback fights, yeah, this is not just hype. We've heard, man, don't let it be a halfway action fight. And Oscar De La Hoya is calling it Hagler versus Hearns. Let it just be a halfway. He called Canelo. He said Canelo versus. What's going on, big dog? I got a pug. Nobody told me pugs are just crazy as hell. I had to lock him inside. He has a doggy door. He just be, y'all would just hear nothing but nonstop barking. Yeah, literally, y'all would just hear nothing but nonstop barking. So I had to lock him inside, and then you run the risk of him doing something he ain't supposed to do in the house. Like that. Look, y'all want to know that's my life. I'm Family Guy now. So, it's styles. Let's get back to it. Man, there's so many different ways this fight can go, right? This fight can go from A to Z. It can go from a one-sided Spence win to a one-sided Crawford win to a draw to a split decision to knockouts on both sides. Everything in the middle. The one thing that this fight really don't got a chance of being is boring. And that's why I'm so excited. Like, I thought the potential for that Haney-Loma fight being a snooze fest was high, and they didn't let me down. They actually made it a good fight. But when you look at them styles, I'm like, ooh, any Haney fight has the opportunity of being a snooze fest. It just does. It's just his style. It's Floyd Mayweather. It's just pick your shots. It's a late Floyd Mayweather too. It's not like early run your hands combinations. It's pop shot, and any pop shotter got a chance of being a snooze fest. So I'm just excited for the styles of the fight. That's why, this is, great. And then you add that with who they are, and it's like, oh, this got all the makings. It's like, this the one, I don't go to the fight party. I've already been invited to them. Family. I'm on the couch. And somebody gonna have to reach out to me. I ain't texting nobody come through. But if somebody says like, hey, you getting to fight Dave? I'll be like, yeah. And they be like, can I come through? Yeah. But I ain't inviting nobody. This ain't a fight party type of fight. I need to watch the undercards. This is my Super Bowl night. I need to watch the undercards. I need to see the pre-analysis, the breakdown. They need to make sure that the telecast of this fight has that big fight appeal, right? They got to make sure of that. So I need to hear in between rounds. I need the whole shebang, everything. I need to hear the post. They letting off fireworks in June. All right, I need post fight. I need everything for this one. This is not the fight party past the guac. Somebody walk in front of the television. Somebody turn down the volume and start playing some music. This is not one of them situations. This is not a fight. This is not a fight party fight for me. I'm very particular when it comes to my sports. But let's talk about these press conferences. This is the first fight that I'm actually going to personally pay for in my life. Yo, Christopher Trainer, how my dog is wilding because they letting off fireworks. And I closed the door on him. Thank God he ain't outside barking. Yo, Christopher Trainer, how old are you? How old are you to say this is the first fight that you ever gonna pay for in life? Like, this is the type of fight where I'm ordering it a couple weeks in advance, just in the pure scenario that there's some financial ruin. That there's some financial ruin that happens right before this fight. Well, I can't afford whatever. It's already paid for. This is that type of situation for me. This is how much I'm looking forward to the fight. I want to know how old Christopher is, say, the first time in his life, because I ordered. I'm 36, family. Yeah. I was screaming before screaming was popular. No, I feel you. I was kind of in on it early, but like, I don't like the risks you run. Like, I know a lot of y'all honestly, I don't have the Fire Sticks. I go to them sites that give your computer aids. Like, you get 36 pop-ups, and once you like X out every pop-up, it's like the fight playing. Then it play for like 5 minutes, buffer. You got to reload the site and then X out all the aids off your screen. So yeah, that's the kind of pirating I do. The one that you don't want to do on your brand new computer, you want to do on a computer you're gonna throw away. Yeah, so I'm buying this one. Let's talk about the press conference. The press conference was good, but you can kind of see why, like, it's a little rough for them, because they really not talkers. They really not self-promoters. They more so like, I have a little quick jab at you, but they can't carry it verbally the whole way through. So it was good. They had very good press conferences, but when they had to make their little statement, their little speech, them things went sideways. Terrence Crawford, he was trying to say something slick today with the I ain't fought nobody. Then he came with the Errol Spence is gonna be another nobody I ain't never fought. And it was like, well, that I fought. It's like, oh, you can't end like with the mess up. So you could tell, like, speaking ain't they thing, fighting is. And that can be a bit of a problem when it comes to payday, right? Because I don't want to say this fight is gonna bust sales wise, but it has that potential. Cause the hardcores know about it. The hardcores is with it. They know. And then you have, there's people in between hardcore and casual. You have people in the middle, and then the closer you get to casual, the harder it is to sell, because you have two black fighters, right? So you don't have no whole nationalities behind them, but that's just what it is for black fighters. You don't have all of Mexico or Puerto Rico or whoever's going to order these fights, so you don't have a whole country behind them. And then you have two dudes who don't got no real animosity. Like, there's no beef. There's not going to be no melee at the press conference. That's just not they get down, right? So you're not going to have that viral moment that's going to appear on people's feeds before the fight. You're not going to have that. And then nobody's a villain, right? So nobody is paying to see somebody get knocked out. Nobody's paying because they hate the other person, right? So you got a lot of elements that bring the casual in that you're not going to have with this fight. So they got to be real on point with promoting the fight. And that was one thing in the press conference that I kind of like, they weren't great with. It was like, hey, this is going to be good, order it. I'm like, look, family, believe me. Anybody who is watching a boxing press conference, what is it? What are we, like 45 days before the fight? They gonna order it. They watch it one way or another. Those are not the people you got to convince. So they do got to go on some other type of promotional tour with the casuals. Like, I don't know, one of the morning shows. They got to go on a Breakfast Club. There got to be a promotional tour, because the last thing boxing needs is for this fight to flop. That'll be literally worst case scenario for boxing, because then it's like, why ever make it again? You know, because I'm pretty sure, you know, they need this fight to sell for whatever guarantees they had to make. So, you know, if this fight flops, it's not going to flop action-wise. It's not going to flop the actual fight itself. But financially, it does have that potential. And, you know, you understood how dire it was when you're watching a press conference and, you know, Custer's just trying to tell them why people should tune in, like get them to bring that out. And they ain't doing a great job at it, because when you have to tell somebody to buy it, that ain't what sells the fight. It's all the stuff around it. And unfortunately, everybody ain't a hardcore. And everybody ain't hardcore adjacent, right? When you see the big numbers, it's Tank versus Ryan. Why? Because Ryan got over 1 million Instagram followers. Tank been knocking people out for a while. So both of them combined will bring you 1 million views. I don't think buys. I don't think either one of them really can do 1 million by themselves, like without a strong opponent on the other side. But it's all the things orbiting around these fights that's going to sell it. But the press conference was actually good. Like today especially, it was the jabs from really Arrow, where he normally, I mean, he just got that country draw, so he could put you to sleep a little bit. And even though he still had it today, it was the quick jabs from him. He's actually a very witty dude, and so is Terrence Crawford. They just not good like delivering like speeches where they think they need to go a certain way. They're better like react. They're basically verbal counterpunchers, right? And that's why today was so good. Hold on, let me check this comments. Easy order, best fight in the last 5 years, easy. I'm trying to think of a fight that I kind of wanted to see more than this. And it was like, I mean, I'm not going, you know, everybody say Pacquiao versus Mayweather was past his prime, but we all wanted to see it when it was made. It was past his prime, but when it was made, we still wanted to see it. So I wanted to see that. I wanted to see that fight just as much as this one, just because of all the hype. I love the fact that they have so much respect for each other, but a Haney push would definitely help sell the fight. It would. That, unfortunately, you know, everybody act like they want they athletes to be humble, right? Now, you know, they don't want the braggadocious, you know, and want fighters to have respect. Don't nothing sell a fight like bad blood. Like, don't nothing sell a fight like that Benavidez versus Caleb Plant blood. Like, that was bad blood, right? That pushed that fight over the top. So the respect for each other, I think they kind of like should have been told, like, chill on that. Like, saying, I know he a great fighter and everything. I don't think that's the best route to go if you want to sell. People, for whatever reason, want some bad blood. They want the fighters to hate each other. They want legit to stay, to be able to see it. And you're not gonna get that from these dudes. They just a little too real. Let's see. They need that Tank, Ryan Garb. Yeah, they do. So we done with both press conferences. We got what we got, and it was good because there's a lot of clips to take from them, right? So the clips, they have some very, very good clips that where people need to be reposting them, right? You know, the Arrow Spence little last second speech to support the fighters, that don't never go over well with fans. Like, we not supporting fighters. We supporting our entertainment. Let's just keep it a buck. You remember when Tidal came out with the commercial about the creators finally getting paid? It had, I want to say Madonna, it had like a whole bunch of musicians and performers in it. It was like, that don't go over with fans. Y'all rich. We don't care. We supporting the entertainment. As long as y'all give us the entertainment, we gonna support. So, look, we gonna buy it. This is one of them fights, man. You can't illegally straighten this joint. You just can't. But they need something else. Like, I don't really want to see no manufactured drama at the weigh-in, because that's what it is most of the time, right? And that's not either one of their character, right? It's gonna make one of them look weak if we get a push or something, or a little rumble or a little melee. That fit the Ryan Tank situation just because of how Ryan had been behaving. Tank's like character, like that fit. Okay, the rumble and everything, that fit. That don't fit this fight. What they're banking on to sell this fight is the actual fight. Sometimes that work, and I do believe sometimes it don't work. I did like Spence's, like, after the press conference, his little rant when he asked him to turn the mic back on, and he talked about the sanctioning bodies and paying that money. I mean, what he was saying will get you blackballed, or really, it will. But how the sanctioning bodies take like 3%, and if somebody like Canelo's making $50 million, like, how much money is that? You know what I mean? Like, they take 3% and they don't know where that money goes, what's it for, what they do. I did like that because sanctioning bodies kind of killed. They kind of kill in boxing, to be honest. Like, all these belts, man. God, man, that's why it's hard to beat the UFC, man, because you got a champion in the UFC. You don't got. Imagine if the UFC had so many belts, how many people who had never been champion would actually call themselves UFC champions, right? My dog's acting a fool. Hold on. Let me read through some comments. They open a resume, sell the fight. The general public, the casuals, they don't know. They don't know about the resumes, man. Boxing is very, very niche. Boxing is like, my brother asked me the other day, and he likes sports, and he liked boxing to an extent, but he don't follow it. He said, dude, what made you, as this sport fell out of like the national spotlight, what made you just like stay with it? And I was like, I love it. It's like the ultimate sport to me. But just his thought, like, what made you stay with it? You have to, like, you ain't gonna, look, if you not like seeking boxing out, like, put it this way. If you're not seeking boxing out, you're not a hardcore sports fan, you in the middle. Like, you're not super casual where you just say stuff like, I watch the Super Bowl, but you like in the middle, like you got a favorite football team and you follow them a little bit. You might not know this fight is happening. That's a possibility. Because boxing is a sport, you got to seek out the information. You might have heard something about it, but you may not know how big it is, how important it is, right? And you're not a complete casual, but you're just not a boxing fan. Like, that's what it is, man. We talk about household names. There's very few household names. People use that term very, very widely. Like, I wouldn't consider Tank a household name. Like, you're not going to walk into a lot of houses and be like, hey, you know Gervonta Davis? And they're like, oh, yeah, we know him. He's a boxer. I can go probably up and down my street and ask. And, a lot of households wouldn't know. Very few household names. You got to be a superstar. You got to be somebody that the casuals know for me to call you a household name. I'm not saying like LeBron James is the only version of a household name, but Steph Curry's a household name. In boxing, Floyd Mayweather's a household name. Manny Pacquiao's a household name. Current fighters, I'm pretty sure in the UK, like, everybody knows who Tyson Fury is, but he's not a household name over here. You can't do that. I don't think boxing has any household names. You know, they talk about the face of boxing, but that don't mean the same thing. Oh, wait, they hoping for... Oh, who you leaning towards for the win? I can't call it, man. Look, I'll just say this. When I see things playing out in my head and I think about possible scenarios and things like I can see that. I can see Crawford hurting Spence. I can see him catching him with something along the lines of what Ugas caught him with, or I want to say Danny Garcia caught him with a big blow that it looked like, you know, he blamed it on the mouthpiece situation. I can see Crawford catching him with something like that, and that's he different. Crawford different when he catch you, and and he knows something happened. Like he turned into a whole nother fighter. So I guess I just keep seeing that scenario in my head, but I also keep seeing Crawford starting slow and Spence not letting up. So when people call this 50-50, if you say, I think Spence is going to win for this, and this reason, nobody can argue you, man. Anybody who is just being like legit and just being true and honest and is not a fan, they can't argue you. And if you say, I see Crawford winning for this and this reason, you can't argue. That's what 50-50 is. Look, there's a couple of things. Okay. One, I don't want no controversies. Look, this is boxing's night to shine. Look, this is literally like boxing Super Bowl as far as how big of a fight it is. When it's being made, we need everything to go right. And I'm saying this as a lover of the sport. So, no bad decisions, no early stoppages, no accidental headbutts, no contest, no fan man flying into the ring. You just never know with boxing. No low blow riot, Zab Judah Mayweather. We don't need any of that. And really what I'm worried about is like a bad decision. Like, dude, you really got to pick the right judges, and you really got to nip that in the bud on that night. This is your time to show off, man. This is when the family come over. Don't be acting out of lie. Don't be acting a fool. This is your time to show off. No bad decisions. I mean, that TO 115, 113 scorecard last week was ridiculous, in my opinion. Tank knocking Ryan down and one of the judges scoring at 10-10. We just blew it off because the right guy won. Ryan got stopped. We should have been outraged, man. We ain't pay enough attention to that. That could come and rear its ugly head on the biggest night where there ain't no stoppage and you need the right guy to win. And there's a knock. Imagine Arrow knocks down Terrence or Terrence knocks down Arrow, and then one of the judges scored around 10. This dog, man. He's trying to play. And one of the judges scores at 10-10. Like, imagine that happens. Like, you know, everybody say, every time there's a bad decision, everybody says, I'm done with boxing. This is why I don't watch boxing, even though they be around every time boxing comes on. I've only known one person that's ever been done with boxing. It's like, I ain't watching it ever again, and that was my grandma. I swear on everything I love, when Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear, she was like, F this is too much for me. And she never watched another boxing match again. She was already in her 70s when that happened. Yeah, she was in her 70s, right? So she was just like, F this sport is not right. Look, this is too barbaric. I should have never watched. That's what she would say. Like, she told us, like, I should have never been watching this to begin with. She's a big fight fan. She's a big sports fan. I'm never watching boxing again. She never watched again. That's the only person I knew who uttered those statements and it actually was true. Never watched again. But we need boxing to behave itself on this night, you know, because boxing get going sideways, man, so quick. And I mean, let's be honest. What we hoping for is a close fight. I mean, the best case scenario is really not a stoppage. The best case scenario is a close, I don't know who won fight. You can argue for either fighter so we can get part 2 quick. Right? They fight in July. Maybe they could turn it around by December. God. He done lost his freaking toy. Y'all done seen the dirty clothes hamper. God, man. My dog lost his ball under the table. Hold on, y'all. Hold on real quick. Oh, man. Jesus. You're going to have to get out of here. You're going to have to go, buddy. No, this the end for you. This the end for you, Playboy. Because you acted a fool. I'm live. You getting kicked out. You're getting kicked out. Move it. Move. Jesus. Nope, don't even bring it back. You don't get to come back in. Sorry, big dog. Sorry. You got kicked out. Oh, man. We back. I had to kick the dog out. Jeez. Live streaming. Yo, hold on. Let me look at some comments. The right refs and judges are crucial for this fight. Ref? Bruh, that who was it Kenny Bayless with Caleb Plant versus Benavidez, where he just let Caleb Plant consistently hold Benavidez all night. And I don't mind, like, that's your strategy. If it's like throw some punches, jump in, and then when it's time, you're not a great inside fighter, you got to tie him up. I'm good with that because you could make that look natural. But the way Caleb Plant would do was he would come in and nobody would do nothing, and he would just grab him. And after the first couple of times, I'm like, Kenny, how long are you going to let this go on? He let it go on for all 12 rounds. Kenny Bayless can't ref this fight. I like Willis. Is it Steve Willis, the one with the facial expressions? I don't never see him in the big fights. I don't see him on the undercard. He must be the little two down the middle, right down the middle, and they don't like it. Because, I know the referee is a negotiating tactic, right? That's like part of the A side, B side, ref, picking your ref and all that. Like Kenny Bayless ended up Mayweather's personal ref, basically. I know that, but for this fight, for the sake of boxing, they need to get the best ref who's going to let them work on the inside, not break them too soon, not let no shenanigans go on. They need that for sure. Look, I quit watching boxing like 10 times this year. TD, like... Oh, wait, hold on. Am I still live? Okay, I'm still live. Yo, that's facts. But you keep coming back. Yeah, man, ain't nobody quitting. Let's just keep it a buck. Ain't nobody quitting. Them fights be too good. Boxing my favorite sport. I've never watched, nothing has ever upset me enough to be like, I'm going to quit. I've never even thought about it. The worst thing was the Rolly situation I've seen in a long time. Like, that stoppage was absolutely absurd. I had to make a video. I'm not trying to be a boxing channel, but I had to make a video on that thing. That Rolly situation was so bad. I was like, I gotta talk about this on my YouTube channel. I just gotta get my thoughts in the universe. It looked bad. It looked rigged and fixed. And I never run to the rigged fix or the new word, scripted. And one thing I say about, like, people always saying this is rigged or it's fixed, I've always noticed that nobody claims anything to be rigged or fixed when they side wins, when they favorite team wins, when they boxer wins. Never rigged, right? You ever seen somebody who favorite team win? You like the Titans or the Patriots or something, and they win, and you like, this was rigged. Never. It's never rigged when your team wins. A lot of people go to that rigged. A lot of people go to that rig when they don't get the result they want. And they just start drawing conclusions in their head how this could not have possibly happened. Look, scripted. This is scripted. Like, knock it off. Like, it's just, yes, there definitely is some shenanigans that go on. I do not deny that. You know, you got some powers that be, especially, I think the most I really seen where it's kind of obvious is like point shaving in college basketball. You could see towards the end of the game the way they call them the fouls and stuff when the game ain't close, and then you start looking at the over under or the spread, and you be like, oh, y'all just doing this in broad daylight. You can see, like, that's the most I really see. That's when it's obvious, like, oh, something going on. Let's see. Yeah, Steve is easily the best ref. And why he don't get Steve Willis should be on all the big fights. Like, first of all, he a personality by his faces. He was just reffing. Was it the Xander Zayas? Is that his name? Xander? I think he was definitely on T.O.'s undercard. He's the best. He's one of the best refs, man. He breaks up the action. He's intent. He ain't gonna just stop something for stopping it, but he gonna protect the fighter. They really need to get him on there. Let's talk about T.O. One thing that's really been irritating me with T.O. versus Taylor. T.O. Look, I know people. Look, you got a lot of reasons not to like him, right? He wasn't facing reality when he lost the straps. And then he's made some comments. I heard the black comment. I'm not offended. I mean, you know, look, that don't offend me. But you know, they was catching a lot of flack. Who'd he lose to? The dude that Haney beat twice in Australia. What's the dude's name? Oh God, that's how much I didn't believe in that dude. I'm forgetting his name. T.O. versus Kambosos. Look, when he lost against Kambosos, his corner was an absolute mess, right? And all I heard was he needs to fire his dad, let his dad go. His corner was a mess. His dad was saying some wild stuff in that corner. And after he lost that fight, I mean, everybody just went in on his father, went in on him, right? And this is what's irritating me. Where's the people? Look, as soon as he lost and I realized how bad his corner was, I was like, wait, after one fight, after one just really bad performance, the guy that brought him to the dance and his own dad, he's supposed to fire and go with somebody else. Now, I'm not saying that because it's his dad, he can't, go somewhere else. But damn, one loss and the guy that got you here, you need to go somewhere else. It's understood, like his father was saying weird stuff in the corner. Like, you need to jump all over this guy. Relax. I was like, man, you gonna have this dude in the ring schizophrenic. Like, what? This is the most crazy corner. That being said, why ain't nobody give his dad his props for fixing T.O. and coming up with this game plan for Taylor? Look, you gotta give his dad some credit for the game plan, because it wasn't just T.O. This is the game plan. When he invaded that Bill Haney interview and told him, like, look, I figured out what I was doing wrong with T.O. I was putting all this pressure, making him be aggressive, because you remember T.O. was getting them one-punch knockouts. But he talked about, no, when he box, he's the best. Can't nobody beat him. And I forgot the name. They called him Flacco. I don't know what the hell they called him. But I guess they had a name for him in the amateurs or when he was coming up, right? And his dad literally said, when he boxed, can't nobody beat him. I'm having T.O. get back to himself. What did he do? He did exactly what his father said he was going to do. Box it the exact way his father said. And what did he do? He washed Taylor. Where was the praise for his father? If you same energy, I'm not one of those keep the same energy. Like, God, that phrase is so overstated. I'm an old cynical man now, but same energy, man. Give his father the praise for fixing him, bringing him back, realizing what they was doing wrong. I mean, he looked like he a tough out. You know, just off the top of my head, at 140, I'm like, you know, whoever comes up there, if they happen to beat him, it's going to be rough, and it's probably not going to happen because he's looking like he could be the best at one. Like him versus Devin. I like Devin. I like Devin Haney. I like him because he's a villain for kind of no reason. Like he just a villain for just being a young brash dude. But he not even that brash. He's just confident, and he's a villain. But you know how that goes. Like Devin, I put the money on. I'm putting the money on T.O. You know, if Tank come up to 140, that's a good fight. T.O. can't take the punches that he took against Taylor. Well, we don't know though, but I don't know. I don't know. I just like Teofimo Lopez. I just like him. I think he's a great fighter. I like how his dad came back, redeemed himself, and nobody's giving. I haven't seen that one video. I haven't heard nobody giving him any praise. Hold on, let me see what y'all talking about. Cambosis, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people, man, the dude at work who's a big boxing head, that's rare. That's rare. You work with somebody, he a boxing head? That's damn near impossible these days. But the dude at work just kept telling me like Taylor gonna end him. He said I told him I said T.O. stops Taylor, and he typed like a whole bunch of like he typed each word in a different message on Teams. Like, you crazy. Like he said I think T.O. gives him problems, but Taylor stops him. And I thought T.O. could have stopped. I told him I see T.O. stopping Taylor. I just had that confidence. Once his dad talked about I'm gonna get him back to what he was supposed to be doing. I just could feel that was the right thing, and he did that. He absolutely did that. Hold on, I don't like T.O. or his dad, but his presence in the 140 division makes the division interesting. Any combination of him, Devin, Regis make for good fights. Yep. And then I think Regis and Devin give him problems because, you know, he kind of made it known that he ain't with the slick fight. Like that dude, was it Sandor Martin? Whoever he fought that was slick, he was like, man, I'm not with this. I'm not for to fight these slick guys. Like, come to me. Come to me, Taylor. So the slick fighter's gonna give him problems, but man, he got that power, and he's slick too, and he's superior athlete. It's gonna be good. I want to see all these dudes mix it up, man. Ryan said he's at 140, so get in there. But I want to see them fix Ryan before he get the crack into the big guys. I want to see what Derek James does with Ryan. You know, like I don't believe in like the trainer being an end all and just fix a guy who has deficiencies and natural bad habits. The trainer really always being able to turn it around. I know a lot of credit gets like you give Pacquiao's trainer a lot of credit because he didn't fix him, but he just made him a complete fighter. But I think some fighters got these habits that when it gets tough, it's cool when it's the beginning of the round, the beginning of the fight. We both fresh. I can actually think about what I'm doing. And you saw with Anthony Joshua against Usyk the second time. When I'm fresh and I can actually think about what I'm doing, he was training with Garcia, Mikey Garcia's brother. Whatever his name is. Yeah, Mikey Garcia. So he was training with him, and you could see the work he was putting in. But it's when you get tired. It's when the fight gets rough. People normally revert back to who they are or those old habits. It's very few who could just throw those old habits away, and like they just don't come back. A lot of people when they get tired, when the fight gets in the muck and the grime, and it ain't no time to think, you ain't got time to think. You tired. You gonna do whatever it takes to get you back through. You revert to going straight back, doing like. I hope Derek James can fix Ryan to where, you know, he gets some of that stuff out of his system. But, you know, Ryan needs to work. I don't box. So I probably shouldn't be telling what boxers to work on. Let me stop. This is why I don't really want to have I can't make this a boxing channel. I never box. Like boxing, that one sport where it's kind of hard to tell a dude who fight for a living, like how to fight. Like, especially if you don't really fight. Like I don't make no bones about it. I've never been punched in the face in my whole entire life. I ain't really legitimately been in a fight since 3rd grade. Sometimes I feel like less of a man because like, damn, I've avoided conflict my whole life. I've never been punched in the face. I have no idea what that feels like. I'm not about to start. I'm 42. All right, let me move on. Yeah, man. T.O., give him his props. Give his dad his props. While we talking about, while we just on, let's just cover boxing. You know what's getting on my nerves with the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford? Is why Deshaun Porter is like the center of this fight. Like, God, like let that man live in retirement. Like every second his name is getting brought up. I understand he's not the only common opponent. And really, that common opponent thing is throw that out. Throw that out. We talk. Have we not watched fighting long enough to know that whole common opponent thing really don't matter? It's the styles of the fighter. This guy, there is no this guy beat this guy, so this guy could beat this guy. That is not a thing. So one guy knocked one opponent out and the other guy went the distance. Therefore, the guy that stopped him has the advantage. That's hogwash. That don't make sense. Because we all know SMF, styles make fights. So I'm just tired of hearing, because I like Sean Porter so much. And it's like, you know, I like Arrow, but he didn't train. He didn't listen to his daddy. Like, we got to listen to that. Like, the dude's retired. You know what I mean? Like, his last fight, he got stopped. Let that man live. He had a great career, fought everybody. I mean, how many people could say? Well, a couple people could say, because they do got a couple common opponents. But I fought Terrence and Arrow and fared well in both of them. I got to look at my scorecard. I kind of felt like Porter was winning that. Do I still have that card? Let me see, because I keep it in my Google Keeps. And, oh, okay, I do have that card. What date is this? Yeah, I got the card, Porter Crawford. I had that fight 5 rounds to 4 before Crawford stopped him, and I had it for Porter. And if you remember in that corner before Crawford turned it up, somebody told him he was losing. And he said, huh? I'm losing. And then stopped him. I had 5 rounds for 4 for Porter. I had Porter 1, 3, 4, 5, and 8. And I had Crawford 2, 6, 7, and 9. So let's not act like Crawford washed Porter. He did not. And then Spence and Porter was just an outstanding fight. Outstanding fight. That fight was absolutely amazing. So just let that man live. Let him handle his podcast. Stop bringing him up. He ain't the litmus test for either one of y'all. Y'all about to fight. There's really no reason. I'm just a little tired of that. Let's see. Let me check. Boxing, great way to stay in shape. Yeah, man, because people don't realize. See, we watch stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, you know, these dudes. You start calling dudes bums, all kinds of stuff. Like just getting outrageous. Fighting for 3 minutes is something is not easy. I remember the homie who was boxing. He was just casually amateur boxing. He was like, dog, you don't understand. Like a street fight normally lasts like less than 60 seconds, and the dudes be gassed, and you have to fight for 3-minute intervals. Like, it's no joke. If you haven't boxed, I already know. You know, I haven't boxed, I already know. I'm not fighting for 3 minutes. I've seen there's a lot of activities that can happen that look like they're easy. Like, I watched people plank before. I was like, that don't really look like nothing. And I went to a boot camp, and they was like plank for like 2 minutes. Y'all know how that went. Like, there's a lot of activities that don't look that strenuous, but are just absolutely ridiculous. I grew up boxing and thought I was pretty good until I got in the ring with some pros. Quickly changed my career path. Hey, you went home and spruced up that resume, didn't you? Oh, is that the one Kenny stopped it? If we talking about the Kenny stopped the Rolly fight. Was it Kenny? Was it Kenny Bayless? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Kenny Bayless. Was it Kenny? No, Kenny's just stopped this Mayweather fight. Oh, God. Are we going to talk about that? Are we talking about Floyd? What do y'all think about that? Like, you know, nobody really want to say it. Like with Floyd, nobody really want to say. No, Kenny Bayless wasn't the ref that stopped the. No, it was no. It was the one with the ref that wear the little flat top afro. It was him who stopped that Rolly fight. All right, let's talk about the Mayweather situation. Why the hell not? Nobody really want to say it, but man, you know, he needs to stop doing this. I had to check myself on my Mayweather fandom because I was one of them dudes. I was just a Mayweather supporter. So whatever shenanigans I was willing to justify during his career, because I still don't get all. I get the hate, but not the boxing hate. All the outside, fine. The boxing hate, I never understood. I never got the boring. He runs. He did. Like, man, y'all just started watching boxing. Like, y'all didn't see Money May or Pretty Boy Floyd. But it comes to a point where your fandom, you got to put your fandom to the side. And I try not to be like how I was for Floyd. I try not to be that way with any other fighter ever again. Floyd, man, I mean, I guess when you value money so much, ain't nothing really beneath you. I mean, outside from like illegal activities and all that. But if somebody throwing Floyd a bag, he gonna take it. And all money ain't good money. That situation could have went totally left. You don't know what could have happened in that ring that night. He really shouldn't have been in. Like, who's going to those fights? Seriously. Who's like, yeah, I want to watch Floyd versus John Gotti III. Like, I didn't even know John Gotti III existed until I saw on Instagram Floyd was fighting him. Like, I read a book about his father, his grandfather. Like, they keep talking about this bag he's getting. And they talking about like 10 million. Where are they generating that money from? Like, no, seriously. Where is the bread coming to pay Floyd Mayweather $10 million? Like, who's showing up? Who's ordering that? They got to be making money, but I don't know how. I don't know. I wish y'all could get active. Like, who's paying Floyd's salary? Like, where's the money coming from? You can't tell me that this ain't a fight that everybody illegally streams. Ain't nobody like dropping bread to watch Floyd Mayweather fight John Gotti III. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, if he wasn't getting that bread, he wouldn't be doing it. There got to be some bigger game to this than we know about. Because I don't really know where that money is being generated from. But that being said, at what point is it not worth? I mean, I guess it's all 10 million or whatever you're getting. It's always worth it. But there's some point where you got to be like, all right, I'm one of the greatest boxers of all time. I coined myself as the greatest boxer of all time. Man, I need to start. I need to start taking a look at my history, my legacy. And if you're going to have an exhibition, dude, make it make sense. It's really just got to make sense. But fighting these YouTubers and like the Logan Paul, I get those dudes are so big that makes sense. But John Gotti III and then a YouTuber I never heard of, like, oh God, man. It's like, damn, you really can't defend it. And then you see how this one turns out. They was talking so much crap that Floyd's personal ref, Kenny Bayless, just stopped the fight based on trash talk. First of all, I heard him talking to Tarver, and he's like, what am I supposed to do? I can't take away points. There are no judges. Like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, y'all ain't thought about this before? Like, hey, if this fight gets out of hand, what are we supposed to do? How do we get these guys in check? It was terrible. I hated to see it because it was posted. As soon as it happened, it's in my group chat. And, you know, with people who hate Floyd. Then I start seeing it posted on Instagram, and I'm like, damn, man. That fight just looked so ratchet. You look at the back, Floyd's back there with like 100 people. I'm like, why are all these people around? Like, he's back there running around chasing his grandson. That's cute. But who are all these people? Like, it just seems like something ain't right. Like, I don't know what he's looking for. I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing that at all. Sean was 100% winning that fight up until the KO. See? I absolutely had a score for Sean Porter. 5 rounds to 4. It was just close. It was close, but I had a score for Sean, 5 rounds to 4. And I said I saw Sean winning that fight until he gets hit. I tweeted it. We can go back to the tweets. I got receipts, baby. I'll keep my receipts. I got a tweet saying, I think Sean's going to do well, and I think he's going to get hit with something he don't see, and that's going to be the end. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. Kenny Porter. Oh, yeah. Oh, Kenny. Yeah. Kenny stopped it. I listened to Kenny's at the beginning when that fight was stopped. I said, there's some beef between father and son. That's a father stoppage. So I said, he hasn't been listening to me. He about to pay a lesson stoppage. I listened to Kenny's explanation of why he stopped that fight, and I said, I could dig it. You know, and I think a little bit it was father-son caring for somebody so much that you know what's going to happen, and you don't want to see him go out like that because he was going to get finished. He was going to get finished. Terrence Crawford has never not finished. Kenny ain't want to see his son like just, you know what I mean, like unconscious, helpless. So he did the fans not injustice, but for himself and for his fighter who he's supposed to be looking out for, he actually kind of did the right thing. And it sounds ridiculous. If you go back and watch it, you're like, oh, hell no, you shouldn't have stopped that fight. But I get his reasoning. Oh, you feel like that brawl was scripted? Yeah, it could have been. Hey, y'all see? Floyd wasn't really hitting him hard the whole fight. Well, from the highlights I saw, because there ain't no way I was watching the whole thing. And then when it got real, and Floyd buddy threw a haymaker, and Floyd ducked it. Like, this is when they brawling, when it's a riot. And Floyd hit him, and he flew across the ring. And he was like, oh, he must have been messing with me. Like, Floyd hit him for real one time. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could have been scripted because you know what's coming. Damn it. Y'all know. Floyd versus John Gotti III Part 2. And the buildup is going to be so ratchet and ignorant. It's going to be elements of racism. They've already got, like, whoever Gotti, she already started getting racist, calling them animals. They should be caged at, like, it's going to be in, like, God, Money Make cares about one thing, and it ain't legacy. At one point he did, though. At one point he did care about his legacy. And he started saying TBE, the best ever. And this is how I know he cared about his legacy. It's because, well, maybe not. But I think one thing that hurt him at the end of his career, you know what, I think would have been better for us as fans and almost for him as a fighter is if I actually thought he won that fight against Jose Luis Castillo. I thought he edged it out. I thought it was splitting hairs, but I thought he won that fight. But most people think he lost. Most people say that he lost that fight. I think it would have been better if he lost because then I think his career path changes, right? Because towards the end of his career, his whole selling point was the O. Like, you remember he got the 50 and O hats made. It was like the best ever, and it was based on not losing. And so he had to move in a way where it was like he couldn't really take the risk because his whole legacy is determined by his O. And I think fighters are getting, thank God, I think fighters are getting away from that. It works for him. He's 1-1. Floyd is 1-1. There will never be another. Do not try to comport your career like Floyd Mayweather, because you're going to end up looking like you ducking fights. Floyd is 1-1, man. It worked for him. It was perfect for him. He built that, though. He built that. He didn't start with I'm undefeated, so I got to move as if I'm undefeated. But towards the end, it was like, yeah, okay. I mean, he was looking for low risk, high reward fights. And that's what he found. And so having that O, if it would have been gone, we probably would have seen maybe a Floyd versus Winky Wright. I'm not saying he was ducking people, but he was clearly taking like calculated risks. Like he knew when he was fighting Canelo how great Canelo was. Like, and no shade at him for, like, people wanted to see it. I for damn sure wanted to see it. That was a perfect situation because Canelo was so young that getting that O, the risk was worth the reward. Like, the risk was worth the L. If Canelo would have won, it's like, damn, he beat Floyd. Like, he took his O and he lost. He was so young. He was like, wasn't ready. And it was true. He wasn't ready. But, at one point, I kind of do feel like he cared about his legacy. And then, I don't know. I mean, why? I mean, he literally is just like, damn, man. If you ever listen to how much money he say he made from the Pacquiao fight, it grows by like 40 billion every time he talk about it, to where like he's damn near at $1 billion. He's like, I made 700 million for fighting Manny Pacquiao. I'm like, damn, man, how much did you make, Floyd? Like, it grows every time he talks about it. He's made. So, I mean, I thought the whole point was making all that money is at some point you don't have to do stuff for money no more. Like, I thought that was kind of like, that's part of why you want to make all that money. Like, believe me, if I make a whole lot of money and this little punk ass job I got right now, they was like, come in for overtime. Like, no, like the whole point of making all the money is you don't got to do stuff for money. So what? Why are you fighting John Gotti? I keep fighting myself from calling him Arturo, and I am God. I do not want to compare him to Arturo. Why? Look, if you make all that money to be your own boss and do what you want to do, why are you fighting John Gotti III? Why? I just thought, like, people say FU money. Like, I need FU money, and that's basically like, yeah, I can do what I want. Yeah, this don't seem like something you should want to do. Floyd just got that curse of the gifted. He's not gonna sit down and some random catch him in one of these exhibitions, embarrass him. Yeah, because look, don't nobody defeat Father Time. So he gone. I don't know, because he keep fighting people that really can't catch him. Like, it's not physically possible for them to hit him hard enough to embarrass him. Like, so, I don't know, man, but damn, I dread the day where I open the socials, I open the Instagram, follow me, Regular Dave. Get active, follow your boy on Instagram. It's private, I have to accept you, and I be thinking everybody a spy. So I be like, follow me. And then people be following me and I don't accept their requests. I'm like, who sent you? Okay. But I dread the day when I open up the gram and have to watch Floyd get knocked out by a YouTuber or John Gotti III or some MMA fighter or some Japanese fighter, some celebrity. I dread that day. Because it's not going to matter to his legacy as a fighter, but with social media now, people hate him so much that they'll make it seem like this is a part of his boxing legacy. So, and I don't want to see that, man. Like, I really don't. I really don't want to see that. But he keep doing it long enough, man. Oh, God. He might have made $700 million, but Uncle Sam took 600 of it. Yeah. I don't even want to think that this is a possibility, but I kind of think his lifestyle costs so much that he really just can't sit down. I know he talks about his smart investments, but man, if you make that much money, you shouldn't have to do stuff for money no more. You know, you really just shouldn't, unless it's just so much money that you can't pass up. But if you done made, dude, if you've had $100+ million night, which he says he had with Pacquiao, right? I don't know how. Look, let me just Google this real quick and see what the estimates are for Floyd versus Pac. How much? Let's see. How much did Floyd Mayweather make against? And then I forgot the McGregor. Okay. More than expectation. Mayweather raking in a whopping $240 million, right? How much did Floyd Mayweather? I forgot all about that. Let me move this damn microphone. Fighting McGregor. Dog, let's just talk about this, man. So they said he made $240 from Pacquiao and $300 million from McGregor. That's 2 nights of fighting. One night that was like, it wasn't an exhibition. I think McGregor, you know, he fared well for himself, but he fought the worst Floyd Mayweather we ever seen, boxing wise. We're talking about $540 million. Why are you fighting John Gotti III? Like, I thought the whole point of making a lot of money is that you don't have to do stuff for money anymore. I mean, does he? He must really want to. Like, I don't know, man. It ain't crazy to blow through five. It is crazy to blow through 540, but it's not impossible. And he, once you take taxes and cut that in half, I think his lifestyle is so. I mean, he showed his garage. I think his lifestyle is so ridiculous that he could literally blow through this money. Like, I think it's possible for him. I really do. And I just hope that ain't the case. I hope I'm just being dramatic. I mean, God. I mean, what's next? Because they're gonna get a part 2. Like, part 2 is coming. So we gotta fight. Like, and then people are gonna actually act like they're interested in it, right? They talked about it on all the big shows. Stephen A. had a blurb on his own podcast about it. I'm like, damn, man. Damn, Floyd. Like, he says currency over legacy. That ain't it. You could have both. You could have both. That's not the message you want to send to the young fighters, because then it's do anything for money. It's do anything for money. Nah, man. You gotta have some balance. Fighting John Gotti III ain't it. That ain't the balance. Okay. I never thought that was gonna be a time where I go in on Floyd, but I'm just not a fan. He ruined it. He not ruining his legacy. He's always gonna be one of the greatest. But in this day of social media, man, where the last thing that you did is how everybody remember you, you can have a career forever, and then you do one thing, everything's over. It sounds silly, but look at Joe Paterno. Like, he had that career for that long, and then he's defined by one action, of him not doing something. So, yeah, like Floyd need to go sit down somewhere. He need to go sit down. I would love to see. I would have, man. I don't know what I want to see Floyd doing, but not fighting John Gotti III. That's for damn sure. All right, I'm off on a tangent. I've been talking about Floyd too long. But really, this Spence Crawford, man, this press conference, both of them was better than expected. I can see why they struggled trying to sell a fight with their mouthpiece. I can see why Crawford and Spence do, because they're counter verbalists, like I said earlier. They're not get up and make this. When they had to get up and make that speech, ooh, that was painful. You know, it's the best fighting the best. God, like, yeah, it's painful. But when they get to spar verbally with each other, comeback for comeback, oh man, those were fireworks. When Crawford was talking about reeling him in, and he's saying no fishing pole big enough, how you gonna reel in Moby Dick? Oh, and then Spence or Crawford talked about gutting him, and he said we smoke bud. Oh, I'm like, oh, I gotta post these on my socials. Like that's going on my Instagram stories. Like that was, man, the speeches was terrible. Them speeches, and you can tell they both had it in their head what they wanted to say. They both had it like kind of planned out. Like you could like, especially Bud's speech today. He was like, "Dad." They say I ain't fought nobody. Well, I guess Spence is gonna be another nobody that I never fought. I mean, that I fought. I was like, uh-oh. let's sit him down and let's have him start verbally sparring, because you know they just, you know, they mic skills. Like they like the wrestlers who really ain't got no mic skills, but they hella wrestlers. But this is a perfect case. Putting people in the right situations. I'm under the weather. I got cough drops. We got these Ricola joints. Putting people in the right situations is a big deal. Like it's very putting people in the right situations it's important in everything. When you start looking at getting drafted to the right team, you could like, there's so many. Look, here's an example. I ain't like Shannon Sharp on CBS when he was on the little football show. It just wasn't his. It wasn't made for him. I was like, oh, he's not really good on TV. That man got on Undisputed and became the best personality on television. It's all about the situations you get put in, and if you getting put in a situation where you could flourish, like those dudes have to be put in. If you're gonna get them to start a fight, they're gonna have to be going back and forth. That's how they get put into, like, that's the best situation for them verbally. Really, their best situation, of course, is in the ring. But verbally, their situation is to spar back and forth with each other. Not make no speech, not make, facts with Shannon. I remember on CBS, I was like, because look, I'm a Bronco fan. I'm a lifelong Shannon Sharp fan. I literally been a Shannon Sharp fan from the time I was a little kid until now. So I remember on CBS, I was like, some athletes just ain't good on TV. If we're gonna go through the list, I want to say the worst TV personality I saw was Emmitt Smith. He was absolutely just terrible. I remember watching Emmitt Smith on like Monday Night Football Countdown, and he said his analysis. He said at the end of the day, the team that scores the most points is going to be the team that wins. I'm like, oh God, somebody get this man off of television. I was like, oh God. Like, somebody get him off. Because, yeah, man. Emmett was bad. Kirk, one of the greatest running backs in the history of football. Television, no thank you. And I was kind of feeling the same way with Shannon when he was on CBS. Oh God, don't do my man Magic. Magic was bad, but he got better. Did he? Magic was rough. Everybody, Magic personality ain't really meant for that. Magic personality ain't really meant for like commentating live sports. You know what I mean? Like, this is Magic Johnson. He had that show. He had a late night talk show. Y'all don't know. Y'all ain't know. Randy, Dr. J. I don't remember. Wait, Randy who? I don't remember Dr. J being that bad. The people I remember being bad was Emmitt Smith, Magic Johnson. I'm trying to think because it's a list of them. Oh, no, I don't think Randy Moss that bad. I don't think Randy Moss bad. He getting put in a good situation right now. I think his situation is pretty decent. When they on the field before like Monday Night Countdown, you know, Drew Brees was boring as hell. Drew Brees was like, and they gave, y'all remember Rodney Harrison, they booted him off. He had to go out in the cold. He had to go. Drew Brees just kind of gave Rodney Harrison the boot. They was like, oh, quarterback retiring. Let's get him up in here. And then Drew Brees just, I mean, damn, who want to listen to some Drew Brees, great quarterback, not taking nothing away, but who the hell want to listen to something Drew Brees talking about? Like, let's be honest. One of the most hated, Booker. Booker McFarlane? I'm gonna pass on Booker. He'll make you turn the sound out. Just because you don't want it. And then they put him on that little I don't know what that was. They put him, it looked like he was a cameraman, but they had him like blocking the view of the fans. Oh my God. Brady, how do I think Brady gonna do? I don't know. You can't doubt Brady on nothing. His greatness Brady's so great that I have a feeling he gonna figure this out. I have a feeling he's gonna figure out this commentary game to find the right balance, because you got to find a balance of being an athlete and being a commentator, or a personality. Because there's a balance. There's things that that the personalities can do that didn't play sports, there's a line. I think Marcellus Wiley said there's a line that he can't cross, but they can cross over, and that's how you get it, Stephen A. So I think Brady gonna figure it out. I thought Reggie Miller was terrible. I did too. I still kind of. I thought Reggie Miller was terrible when he first started, but he improved a lot over the years. Yeah, man. I was just thinking back. I don't really care for his commentary that much. I remember I was listening to a game, and was it Kevin Harlan or one of them talked about a dude being the top score player of the year in Illinois. And he's from Chicago. He said, wait, he's the player of the year? He's the high school player of the year in Chicago? He said, well, in Illinois. He said, oh, I thought you meant Chicago. I was about to say. I was like, damn, Reg, like Chicago is in Illinois. Like, oh, damn it, Reggie. Hey, wait. You know who else was bad when he first started but got way better? George Foreman. I thought George Foreman was pretty rough. Oh, I hated listening to George Foreman. And then as the years got on, look, another thing, man. Everybody wants you to be great right away. Everything takes time, man. Look, everything takes time. And I know that from my own experiences. I'm not saying I'm the greatest YouTuber, but there's a period of time, there's no way in hell I'm on, like, what? How long I've been streaming? I don't know. I'm over an hour, I think. There's a period of time, there's no way in hell I could have just got in front of the camera and just started randomly talking to a couple people in the chat for this period of time. That was an impossibility. But I've been on YouTube for like 12 years. So, Timothy Bradley is, God. To me, there's like 3 Timothy Bradleys. There's the fighter who I loved. I hate when people disrespect him as a fighter. There's the analysis, the breakdown, which I actually like. And then there's the live commentary. Sometimes Timothy Bradley commentating and you like, do he even know where he's at? Like, like sometimes Timothy Bradley commentating, I'll be like, look, here's a couple things that commentators do for boxing that I absolutely, I just don't like. Like, not that I don't like. Okay, one guy I really like on TV or commentating, I like Andre Ward. I do have one criticism of him, though. But I really like Andre Ward because he just seemed like man, I just watched Book of Ward. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. SOG Book of Ward is really good. Okay, he just seemed like a good guy, like a great guy, right? So he just seemed like, no, he's not going to be biased. But sometimes what commentators do, or what the color guy does, the boxer, is spend too much time on what one guy needs to do to win. And when they do that, it almost feels like they want them to win. Like T.O. versus Taylor this past weekend. I felt like Ward spent so much time on what Taylor needs to do to turn it around. Taylor needs to do this, what Taylor needs to do, and not enough time on what T.O. is actually doing, but what Taylor needs to do. And when I hear that long enough, I'm like, damn, I know that's not his intention. He's trying to give his analysis, but it just sounds like he wants Taylor to do this to start winning. Oh man, I'm under the weather, as I said. I don't know what I got, man, but we got the Ricolas. They strong as hell too. I got the ones with the center that taste just like straight medicine and like oils and herbs. Damn. But Timothy Bradley, when he started getting in his Loma bag during the middle of a fight, it's like, oh God, man, why don't you just go in his corner? Why don't you just go in Loma's corner? Ward is good, man. Ward is good. Roy Jones is good. Some of these people where you like, I didn't think they were gonna be good. Like Roy Jones, because when you listen to him talk, he just so damn country. You be like, this ain't gonna work. Didn't he get on the mic and say something? I like when a color guy can give you some insight that you ain't know nothing about. And I'm like, oh, that's when it's it, you know? And Roy will do that. Roy knows so much about boxing that Roy's look into the fight is like, somebody will say something, Roy, no, that's not what's going on. Like, Roy, like, look, I didn't did this, boy. You don't shut your ass up. This is what's happening. Roy's so good, and the way he could, when a guy can explain something to somebody who don't fight and it makes sense, that's when you know that they're good. I remember watching, you know who was good, who I love, rest in peace, Crunk Gym guy. What's his name? The Crunk Gym guy. The trainer. Oh, man. Don't make me look this up. Don't make me look it up, y'all. Look, I'm old, man. I'm starting to think COVID, when I had COVID those couple times, it's really getting me. I'm really starting to think that. The Crunk Gym. Who owned Crunk Gym? Now they want my location. Oh, God, are y'all gonna answer me in here? Emmanuel Stewart. Damn. How did I forget that name? Emmanuel Stewart. He was great, right? Because I like when you hear insight from a guy and you be like, oh, I never would have thought of that. I remember watching a fight and he's talking about how Hearns versus Hagler turned into Hearns versus Hagler. And he said he walked in on Hearns on the night of the fight, getting a full-on massage. And he was like, oh, damn. And I'm listening to the thing, and I'm listening, and I'm like, whoa, where's he going with this? Like, what was going on in that massage? He was like, I knew that person was massaging all the energy out of his muscles. He was getting a deep massage, and I knew the energy out of his muscles. She was massaging him. It just dissipates the energy. So he was like, I knew he had to fight a 3-round fight. That's why that fight was frenetic like that. Because Hearns knew he wasn't going to have it in later rounds because he didn't know any better, obviously, or he wouldn't have done it. But when you hear something like that, and you're like, man, I would have never thought about that. And the fact that he knew right away when he saw the massage, like, like, okay, that's what we signed up for. We ain't signed up for Emmitt Smith to say the team that scored the most points is going to win the game. Emmitt said all kinds of wild stuff. You know who's pretty good on television, who I didn't think was going to be good, is Michael Irvin. I didn't think Michael Irvin was going to be that good on television, to be honest. Like, I thought he was a little too much. And now when he getting his cowboy shtick with Stephen A, it's too much for me. Like, and I get uncomfortable when black folks start talking like preachers about sports. That just makes me uncomfortable. It's like eating ribs or fried chicken in public. When black people start talking about sports like preachers, I start turning off. I'm like, oh, like I'll watch. Look, as long as nobody else is in the room, I'll watch. If somebody walk in the room, I'm not watching that. I can't watch that in front of people. It just makes me uncomfortable. But yeah, when Michael Irvin starts sweating, I know. Yeah, man, because all that little Beijing or that I think I heard Dominique Foxworth call it the flim flam. When you out here fooling people, yo, I got that joint. I didn't even know I was getting it. I went to the spot. My homie turned me on to his barber, right? And so I went to the spot, right? And he's lining up my beard, and then I just was going with it, you know. And then he puts like a cardboard on my beard and takes out the spray and then starts spraying right underneath the cardboard. I didn't even know it was coming, so I couldn't tell him, like, no, don't do that. And then when he started spraying, I'm like, I'm curious to see what this is going to be. Right? So I didn't know I was getting the flim flam. You know, I didn't know I was going to be running the end around on my beard, you know what I mean? Trying to throw people off. And yeah, I had the little Beijing, right? And it looked pretty good. I stopped doing it. I stopped doing the flim flam because the closer you get, the worse it looks. It looks great on television and looks pretty decent from maybe 3-4 feet away. Once you start getting a little closer, you start saying, this shit ain't real. This is not real. But yeah, Michael Irvin, a lot of, man, all them dudes get the flim flam. It's hard not to on TV. I mean, you know, Jalen Rose went a little overboard with it. Like, damn, your hairline looked like a crease, just like a crease. Just like ain't nobody hand even that straight. Like, knock it off. Yeah, the flim flam till I got over 30. Hey, you man, look, the flim flam ain't come. It ain't come in time to save the hairline. I was already done by the time people started getting the end around, whatever you want to call it, the halfback toss, whatever you want to call it, where you was faking people out. I was past that, bro. Like, you know, all this is gone. Roof is wide open, really. It's convertible right now. So I was past that, but you know, I can grow a full beard, but like, you know, special occasions, I'm gonna get the flim flam. Like when I get married and bachelor party, I'm gonna get the flim flam on the beard. I actually seen the ultimate end around on the top where they lay them waves. Yo, family. I was thinking like, man, if I do the bachelor party in Vegas, bruh. Yo, Jalen Rose be on his early 2000s Steve Hart. Hey, Jalen Rose, man, he finna get to Carlos Boozer's. Y'all remember that? Why they don't get talked about as much when Carlos Boozer Carlos Boozer ain't even get the flim flam. I don't know. I don't know. Family. Man, what did Carlos Boozer do? I mean, now that we talking about it, I gotta find a pic. And the thing is, if you type in his name, okay, I typed his name in Google. Carlos Boozer, because that's what Google says, but the most looked thing is hair. It comes up right away. So, see, look, CBS News, spray on hair debacle. I don't know, man. Look, I don't want to judge another man. I like Carlos Boozer, and I don't want to judge another man because you don't know what happened. You know, I got the flim flam and didn't even know it was coming. So, you know, maybe he looked up and like, oh damn, it's on now. I gotta go out and play in a little bit. So let's let it ride. But good God, if y'all ain't seen Carlos, just type in Carlos Boozer hair, and then, oh boy, and then when LeBron was, he be doing the plugs though. LeBron, he got the bread. He ain't got to get the flim flam. He do the plugs. Yeah, that's straight shoe polish, bro. That wasn't even. That was before Beijing was like, I don't even know what to do. Spray. He had this machine. Boozer should have known better than that. Yo, look, the dude had a machine. It was like a spray pump hooked up to a machine. The machine was making noise. He started spraying under the beard. And I was like, I didn't know he was going to do all this, but I'm paying like $30 or more, like 35 for the beard. I got to look. I'm paying like 30, so I should have looked. And under the description, it say airbrush and all that. He don't have a you can't, because you got to reserve online. He don't even have a cut that don't include that for the beard. You just got to tell him. I tell him now, like just the line. But hey, when I got home, I looked. Oh, okay, I see what this is. I see why it looks so good on TV. I see why it looks so good from a distance. But I was like, nah, because up close, you gonna know I'm faking you out. Yeah, we went down this road because we was talking about announcers. We was talking about Tim Bradley. He just sometimes, man, when he get in his bag for the fighter he like, and mainly Loma, it's like, just go work Loma's corner, fam. Go hold the spit bucket or whatever, because that's how much he capes for him. But then when you hear him analyze Loma, right? And when you hear him break down Loma and Haney, he's one of the ones that says that fight is 50-50 and could have went either way. So when he's in his analytical bag, I like it. I think he just gets caught up in the moment. And sometimes I just be like, I don't even think this man knows where he's at, because Tim Bradley just going a little too crazy. My favorites calling the fight, I do not like, I don't want to say I don't like, but when we talking about the play-by-play dude, y'all can leave Joe Tessitore at home. Because, look, man, let the fight be the drama. I don't like a boring call, right? But there's levels to it, right? I used to like Jim Lampley's calls. I down the stretch, I felt like they was so biased at times. But Jim Lampley got one of them voices that's absolutely amazing. And his calls were actually great. Tessitore, like, damn, man, you're not calling a college football game. And he got that, Tessitore got that, what's old buddy that was in Madden for a minute? Gus? What's his name? What is old buddy's name? Gus? Is it Gus Johnson? Yep. Gus Johnson. I can't do them Gus Johnson calls. And I can't do the Joe Tessitore, like, you know, somebody just land a nice little straight right hand and it sounds like it's Ali Frazier. You know what I mean? Like, the level of his excitement don't never equal up to the moment. And I know you want to get us into it and make it seem like we watching something exciting, but we can see what's going on. We can see the fight. You ain't got to really try to send us over the top like that. Cause Tessitore, Teo, what a straight right hand. Oh my God, he's boxing. Like, oh God, man. Now I gotta turn off the sound. I don't remember having to turn off the sound back in the day. What's his name used to be wearing me? I ain't like is it Harold Letterman? I know people liked him, but he was terrible. No. Harold Letterman was the crazy one that used to come on and announce his card. It was, what was his name? Jim Lampley, his partner. He's legendary. The one that Floyd went bananas with. You don't know shit about boxing. Let's see. Who'd he tell that to? Cause he what is his name? Hold on, y'all. Did y'all say it in Letterman? Okay, are there two Lettermans? Harold's the one. Larry Merchant. I like Harold Letterman. I'll tell you why, because he just sounded nuts. Harold Letterman, like Harold. I miss HBO. I miss old boxing. They'd be like, Harold, how do you have the fight scored? Jim, I have the fight. I haven't scored 3 rounds to 2. He's not popping the jab. I miss Harold Letterman. Because he just sounded like when he used to come on the mic, you just felt like his glasses was tilted up sideways. He had like his hair, like that's the way his voice came on. He would just barge on. I haven't scored. Like, I liked him. Larry Merchant. Oh God, he used to drive me crazy. He was so like, I don't know, man. Maybe I was too young to catch the poetry and the nuance of him. I did not like him at all. But Jim Lampley, when you had like a Jim Lampley and a Roy and then Merchant, I could deal. Or Foreman became really good, I could deal. I like Larry Merchant hated Floyd. The thing was, when he said if I was 20 years young, I would have kicked your ass. I'm like, what, sir? Larry Merchant? At what point did you think you could have whooped Floyd Mayweather? Like he said, Floyd said, you don't know shit about boxing. He said, if I was 20 years young, I would have kicked your, like. I remember hearing that. It was like, I know you got caught up in the moment, but that was the wrong thing to say. Yeah, man. I miss HBO. He said 50 years old. Did he say 50? I never cared for Larry Merchant. I never did. I liked Emmanuel Stewart. You know what? I like Max. Max will start, you got to watch Max because he start talking about 1920 and then he'd be like, all right, Max. But I actually like Max Kellerman because one thing you know is he knows history. That's enough for me. He knows history. Max can rub you the wrong way because Max is like one of those dudes that you could tell is so, he reminds me of, old buddy at FS1. What's old buddy at FS1? Man, he be on a Bomani Jones sometimes. He got his own show. He real smart. He a smart dude. Nick Wright. He remind me of Nick Wright, that those dudes are so smart. Max is like that. They so smart. They come off like they can never be wrong, or they just know it all, or every take they have has to be right. And if you don't agree with them, you the dummy. Nick Wright has that quality. Max Kellerman has that quality. But that being said, I like people who can dig in, who's intelligent, and who can go deeper than the surface. And they both can do it without the extras, without the hooping and the hollering like Stephen A. I can't. When Stephen A. get the buck in his eyes, I can't do it. I just, yo, Mark Clark, what up? What round you think gets hurt first? I don't know. If we going back to Crawford Spence, I don't know. All right. If I was gonna say, all right, look, here's a litmus test. Somebody say, you got $100. Here go a milli. Here go. Well, milli. You know, you say $1 million now. You know, they take 400,000 off the top. That's 600,000. That'll get you a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on the outskirts of LA. You gotta be 60 miles from LA to buy something like that for 600,000. So a milli don't mean the same thing. Somebody say, Dave, here's a litmus test. Dave, here's $10 million. Predict how this fight is gonna go to the best of your ability, right? And so there ain't no I don't know. You just gotta predict it, right? This is how I could see the fight going. Crawford already said it. He ain't never showed otherwise. The bell or Spence said it. Bell rings, he gets to stepping. He gets to stepping. And that means what Errol Spence always does. He applies the pressure. Crawford handles it. Spence is doing well. Crawford handles the pressure because he's not a dummy, right? And he handles the pressure. And it's round 3 or 4, and I think the tide turns. I think Crawford hits Spence with something that stops him in his tracks. Not knocks him down, not knocks him out, but hopefully he don't look for his mouthpiece. But it's like, ooh, let me not step as hard. And I think the fight starts turning a little bit Crawford's way. I'm just playing it out in my head. I think the fight starts turning a little bit Crawford's way for the middle rounds 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. And if Spence gets through those rounds, I think he's still around and not showing like I'm not going nowhere. I think he starts taking those rounds. I'm just playing it out like, how could I see this fight happening? I think he starts that pressure. You know, Crawford downloads you and figures you out, but I think that's contingent on you slowing down a little bit later. And I think Spence is going to have the gas tank and the ability to not slow down. And I think Spence can win down the stretch. And so like rounds 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. And I think at the end, you're like, I don't know who the hell won this fight. Almost like, but it didn't end like that. But Leonard Hearns, where it was like watching 3 different fights. It was like Hearns hurts Leonard, and it's like, damn. And then Leonard hurts Hearns, and the fight is like you've been watching 3 rounds that did not exist before. That fight, we'll go back and watch Leonard Hearns. I have to watch it again to kind of get the specifics. But I remember watching that fight and being like, damn, man, if you just picked the fight up from here, you would have never known what happened in the previous rounds. And I think that's what happens. And I think at the end, you're going to be like, man, this is hard to score. I don't know who won. And people are going to say, I can see this fight a draw. And then one person's going to win and people are going to say, no, this fight was a draw or the other person won. I can see that happening. Okay, let's see. Literally felt the same. I got Spence, but sees him getting hurt, but dogs it out to, yep. Yeah. Hey, one thing I hate people saying, look, we on now. I'm sick. I ain't been on in a couple days, so I might as well keep it going. One thing that I hate people saying when there's a fight that they feel like a certain guy won and or whatever, people saying, well, I think he won, but it shouldn't have been a unanimous decision. Like, that comment's so ignorant. I think he won, but it's sitting to be a unanimous decision. Dog, are you saying you think he won, but nobody, like another person shouldn't think he won? Like if you think he won, then yeah, like a unanimous decision makes sense. I've heard people say that. I think he won, but it shouldn't have been unanimous. Well, are you saying that the guy next to you should think that the other guy won? Like, I don't know. I've seen, man, look, I've been on the internet enough to see so much foolishness. What are we talking? My boy Boots fights next month. Hopefully he handles business and gets the winner of Spence Crawford. Christopher, that's not going to happen. Boots is really good. Well, we don't know exactly how good he is. Porter said something. He used the wrong word. He said overhype. It's not overhype. He's just unproven. And he might be exactly as good as everybody thinks he is. We just got to see it still. We just got to see it. We got to see the level of competition. But for how good we think he is and what kind of hype he would garner for a fight against Spencer Crawford, I hate to be the promoter, the businessman. It ain't worth it, family. It ain't worth it at this point. That's high risk, low reward, right? Because you don't get the same build up that you do through Crawford and Spence. So, you know, if Spence wins, ain't no way in hell his next fight is Boots. It's not. Boots got to go like, I'm trying to think, Boots got to fight like maybe one time, if one time is with it. Maybe Ugas. He got to go. Boots versus Thurman. He got to go. He got to go through some people. He got to reach the you can't just start off at the final boss. I'm not saying he just starting off, but Boots ain't at the final boss, right? So you got to get to Spence. You got to get to Crawford. And Crawford said that, first of all, they got rematch clauses. So we might see 2 or 3 fights from these dudes. We might see another one and then another one after that. I mean, for boxing's sake, best case scenario is a Spence win, a Crawford win, or a Crawford win and a Spence win, and then the rubber match. And I want to see that all within like 18 to 24 months. They fight here in July. I don't know if they could I don't know what months, like September is a no-go because that's way too soon. And that's Canelo month. Maybe if they could fight in December and then again next summer. Like I want to see it. Like I don't want to see him drag it out because I still need to see if Crawford is the winner. He talking about going up and getting one of Charlo's. Hey, we need that energy. Charlo versus Crawford. That, man, you want to talk about some energy. The Charlos don't play. They beef with each other. The Charlos, they so crazy. They beef with each other. The twins beef against each other. So I want to see that type of energy with Crawford versus the Charlo. So, yeah, because I don't want this to be like the end of Crawford's career, like where it's like downhill. I think they could still both win or lose, still be close to that level, and then have enough room to get back to where they was at. They not, I think Spence got a little more leeway to do that than Crawford because Crawford's a little older. But I want to see. I don't want to see either one of them fall off, no matter win or lose. But yeah, Boots got a little way to go. He gonna get to one of. I don't know. I don't even know if he gets to one of these guys. He's probably gonna get to one of them. He definitely not getting to both of them. And then it'll be the Boots era. Boots will come and knock one of them off, and then it's always gonna be a boogeyman for you to fight, right? Because if Spence wins, right? Say Spence wins convincingly, and whatever, they can't make the rematch right away. People are going to be telling Spence to fight Boots, right? And if he don't fight Boots, they're going to say he ducking Boots. And then if you fight Boots, they say, well, you've been talking about going up. It's time to fight Canelo. They've been talking. They've already been talking about it. Spence didn't even talk about it. Spence, you a big dude. You like eating and cutting all that weight. Well, just eat and don't cut the weight, and go up to 168 and fight Canelo up there. Like, they talking about it. So, it's always a boogeyman. That's the kind of thing I hate about boxing. It's like, people talked about Canelo being scared of Triple G, scared of Triple G, fought him 3 times. Now he's scared of David Benavidez. And then once he fights David Benavidez and possibly wins, who knows? He's gonna have a new monster to fight. Oh, you don't fight black fighters. You ain't fighting no Charlo. He got to, you don't like. It's always a boogeyman. It's always another monster for them to slay, and that kind of gets annoying, right? Because we know that once the Spence Crawford thing is kind of settled down and it's over, it's gonna be Boots. And if you don't fight Boots, then you've been ducking. You hiding. You handpicking your opponents. Boots gonna have his day, but I do want to see him. I do want to see Boots, fight more good competition, which he's been doing, and then it's levels to it, and then he gonna get there. And from everything I seen, man, I just do the eye test. I don't know boxing like that. Boots got it all. Boots got it all, and he's the kind of dude that can get to the top and stay there. He's one of them dudes that can get one of them straps and become the man and be the man for a very, very long time. So, yeah. Yeah, Thurman ain't in no hurt, not against Boots. Boots won that young, hungry lion. Boots one of them dudes that probably don't even know how good he is right now. He that good, and he think he the best ever, and he still don't know how good he is. And Thurman, damn, man, that injury. We ain't really get to see Thurman, I mean, it's a shame we never saw Thurman versus Spence. We never saw Thurman versus Crawford, and then Spence was chasing him so long that once he pissed Spence off, and then he was like, oh, hell no. I was chasing you that long, and now? Now you need me? Oh, hell no. So, I don't know. I don't know where we go at 147 from after Spence and Crawford, but I'm sure they're going to be Boots is going to be the new monster, the new boogeyman, and if you don't fight him, you scared. That's just the nature of boxing until you retire. Until they find that guy that actually is the monster, knocks you off, and then people act like you was never that good. That's just the nature of boxing. But man, I've been on here rambling about boxing, and I done got sidetracked a couple times. Because one comment will just send me down a whole new path. But I appreciate y'all coming through, man. I don't know what hour we going into. Whatever hour, it's been too damn long. I'm gonna get at you guys another time. I'll try to be live again tomorrow. I want to kind of get consistent with this. I'll get at you guys another time. Peace.